Hello everyone, thanks for watching this video. My name is David Williams. I'm the owner of SCF Solutions based here in Canton, Georgia. And the purpose of this video today is to educate those individuals, homeowners, estate farm owners that have forward board fencing about a common issue that's well known, but unfortunately I wasn't aware of it, and perhaps a lot of you are not aware of this issue as well. So it's purely an educational video as to what the problem is and a solution that I've come up with to resolve the problem, which will ultimately end up saving you a lot of money and extend the life of your fence investment. So about 10 years ago, I invested in forward board fencing for my equine property, and as most of you are well aware that have currently installed board fencing or you're thinking about board fencing, it's extremely expensive. I did a quick calculation last night, and with the current board prices, board fencing, just the raw materials alone, is $10 to $11 per foot. So if you have 1,800 feet of board fencing like I do, that's $18,000 just in the raw material. That doesn't include the installation. So again, what I'm trying to stress is you're spending a lot of money, and you want to make sure that you can do everything possible to protect this investment to ensure that your fence maintains its beauty, resale value, aesthetically pleasing, curbside appeal, etc. So we're going to move on to what the problem is and how we're going to resolve that problem. So the construction of board fencing is pretty straightforward. It is a very intensive job. Fencing companies deserve a lot of credit for being able to lay out a fence, control the contour of the fence so that it flows nicely with your property. But basically they auger a hole, they place a 4x6 post in the ground, concrete the post in the ground, attach the 4 board fencing to the post, and then put a fascia board on to cover where the seams of the boards come together on the post. The last step they do is they take a chainsaw and they cut the top of the post at an angle so that the very top of the post here is almost flush with the top board and then angles down. Now the purpose of the angle is supposedly to facilitate water runoff. Unfortunately, that doesn't work as expected. There's a lot of documentation online. I encourage you to go online and research it yourself, but it's called end grain surface rot. And basically, this top surface of your post is constantly exposed to the elements: rain, snow, sleet, etc., sun, UV. And what happens is cracks naturally form in the top of this surface. Water seeps down into the post, promotes bacteria and fungi growth, which leads to premature wood rot. During the wintertime, water flows down in these cracks, freezes, expands those cracks anymore, so you get this cyclic year-to-year behavior of water getting further and further down into your post and rotting it out. As an example, one of my neighbors down the road just recently replaced 7 of his fence posts. His fence posts were only 7 years old, had 7 of 100 fail, 7% failure rate in 5 years. And you can see the wood rot that has already occurred on the post. And what we're going to do here in just a minute is I want to show you that even though it's surface rot here, I'm going to take a chainsaw, cut this post, and you'll see how extensive the wood rot has actually going into the post, affecting the structural integrity of the post. So I've cut approximately, I don't know, a foot off this post. You can see wood rot is pretty extensive considering it's only been 5 years. Furthermore, you can see the wood rot is still deep down into the post. So again, it's affecting the structural integrity of your fence, and this bacteria and fungi is just going to continue eating away at your post, and eventually you're going to have to replace the post. So as I mentioned before, I had my fence installed about 10 years ago. 7 years ago, I was walking the fence line, inspecting it, and I actually came across 60 of my fence posts that were exhibiting premature wood rot. I contacted the fence company that installed the fence for me, and they gave me a quote, and I was rather shocked. It was going to end up costing me well over $6,000 to replace those posts. Fortunately, I'm retired. I had time on my hand. I had the equipment, so I decided to do it myself. It's a major, major undertaking. It's very difficult. You got to remove all the boards. You got to get the post out of the ground, which has been concreted in. Fortunately, I have a tractor with hydraulics. I can pull them out. But yeah, it's not something your typical homeowner is going to want to undertake. So it's very expensive to have these posts replaced. It's important to protect this surface from the elements. So my wife told me, she goes, Dave, you're an engineer. You got to figure something out. So I came up with a prototype of a fence post cap that would fit on top of the fence post. And what's rather unique about this is most of your standard off-the-shelf post caps that you can buy from Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon, whatnot, they're designed specifically for what they call flat top posts, where the top of the post is cut flat and it's usually elevated above boards and whatnot, and that cap can just sit down over top of the post. Well, there wasn't a solution on the market available for a fence post that has been cut at an angle. Furthermore, there's also a little bit of pitch in the way they cut the top of the fence post as well. So I thought about it, worked with a couple of the engineers that I'd worked with previously, and came up with a prototype design. Yes, I nailed it from the top. This is okay. It was just prototype. I was only trying to protect the top of the post. So I came up with that. Left it on the fence post for a couple years, randomly went around, knocked them off, checked the integrity of the post, and sure enough, it was doing what it was supposed to do. I then started having people stopping by my house, asking me, Dave, where'd you get those fence post caps? Never seen those before. We've been looking, haven't come across this. No, it's just something I came up with design. And they were pretty impressed with it, and I've had several neighbors buy the prototypes from me installing their fences. And they kept telling me, you know, you should really think about marketing these things. And I kind of wishy-washy back and forth, and I decided, yeah, you know, I think it's a service that I want to offer to homeowners, make them aware of a way that they can protect their investment relatively inexpensively and get the most out of your post is what I trademarked the product. So it's really about protecting this top surface from the elements. So I then decided, okay, let me look into this more. Did a lot of research, contacted a patent attorney. He did a research for what they call prior art. That's basically, has anyone else come up with this idea before? He came back and said, no, nobody's come up with this, Dave. We need to file a patent on that. So I've done a redesign of the product. It comes as a flat, which is one of the patentable innovations of the product, in that I can ship the product in a flat state. If you can zoom over here real quick, you can see in a box about this size, I can get 200 toppers. fence post caps in a box that size. Your off-the-shelf ones that are preformed, plastic injected molding, you could probably get maybe 20, 25 in that box size. So that was one of the innovative ideas. The second one is, as I mentioned before, this angle on the post changes from post to post. So you can't have like a one design fits all. And what I've come up with was a flat 040 aluminum pre-anodized piece that has what I refer to as two wings and a tail. And you'll notice on the tail there's multiple laser cuts. And the purpose for these laser cuts is to accommodate from post to post the various angles at which the post has been cut at. So installation of these is really, really simple. You don't need what I call a forming jig. I recommend you use one simply because it makes for clean bend lines. A bunch of old 4x6s laying around, of course, since I replaced 60 of them. You just cut an 1¼ inch slot in the top of the jig. Simply take your Brella topper, insert it into the slot, fold it, flip it into the slot, fold it, and you preformed the fence post cap. Then all you do is come back, set it onto your post, you slide it up so that the top of the Brella cap here is slightly overhanging the post itself. You don't want it to go too far over these boards, but you definitely want to cover up this top line of the post. So you just slide it up, and then I used wood deck screws. Some of my customers have used galvanized nails, roofing nails. If you're doing a large quantity of these, the screws are a lot less fatigue and the installation goes a lot faster. I recommend you use a 1¼ inch deck screw, wood deck screw, an exterior wood deck screw. Do not use common nails. If you try to use standard construction common nails in treated post, the treated post has very acidic and will actually rust the nails. So I use exterior wood screws, and I'll come in from this side since Tom's filming from there. I use the hole up closest to the rail board. There's multiple holes, you don't have to use them all. I use the one up here. Simply just hold it in place, drive one screw in, come to the other side, kind of apply a little bit of pressure, push the Brella cap down on the post, drive the other side in, you're done. Take a rubber mallet, and the reason I use a rubber mallet is, one, it's lightweight to use if you're sawing a lot of these, and two, it's got a rather large surface area. So you come back on this tail, and basically you just tap it, and the tail conforms right to post. So again, on this particular post, it's kind of formed between the first and second laser cut, but it does fold down and form a nice flush with the back of the post. Again, there's holes in this tail. If you decide you want to screw that in, you can. Most of my customers just opt to go with the 2 screws. It's on here. The final step, just to even add more water ingress protection, take paintable silicone and you just shoot a bead of silicone right along this front edge right here, and that's all you have to do. Your post is now protected from the elements. It's aluminum, it's not going to rust, corrode, it's paintable. It's going to greatly extend the life of your post. So the next big question everybody asks, okay Dave, how much do these cost? Well, currently you can cover 25 fence posts for the cost of replacing one fence post. So you can have, for $100, you can cover 25 fence posts. You might be saying to yourself, that seems a little high, but again, this wood rot can occur as early as 2 years after installation. I've talked to fencing companies, talked to owners of fencing companies. they know that within 2 years they have detected wood rot. Within 5 years, you can expect to see about a 7% failure rate with wood rot. At 10 years, you may see up to 12% or more. So it's an investment now, but it is going to save you in the long run big time. So it's definitely worth investing in the product. I encourage you again to do your own research online about the end grain surface rot, and if you're interested in pursuing the product, you can visit my website at SCF Sierra Charlie Foxtrot postcaps.com. You can send me an email, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to discuss it further with you. If you have higher quantities, of course you're going to get lower cost, but I'm really counting on you, the owners, and not so much the fencing companies, to acknowledge the problem and buy a product, because the fencing companies, even though I have a lot of respect for them, they generate a lot of recurring revenue over the years going out and replacing fence posts. So is it in their best interest to provide these? Probably not. A good fencing company would say, yeah, Dave, we understand the problem. We'd love to team with you. I'm hoping that happens so that our customers get the best product, the most life out of their fence posts. You can extend the life anywhere from 2 to 3 times with this simple solution by protecting the top surface from the elements. So again, thanks for your time. Hope you've been educated a little bit more. Again, do your own research and contact me at scfpostcaps.com. Visit my website. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much.